My honor and joy to welcome Reverend Sheryl Hinds, who's going to be talking to us about humor, a daring new skill, something I think we all need every once in a while.
Are we on? Yay. I'm on. ah. Oh my goodness. So here we are again. It's another beautiful Sunday and we're all together. Thank you for coming. Especially seeing as how we didn't know what we were all going to be walking out to this morning. So, I'm going to need my glasses. Well, what is it? What? Have I got something on my face? Oh, that's humor. I used to think it was. No, I still do. Come on. This is how I used to handle my mom. I always had a red nose because you never know. When I when I was working at Home Depot, if there was little kids that were cranky, out came the red nose. I always had it in my apron. If I had a cranky person, adult, out came the red nose. Excuse me, sir, but can I help you? Yeah, it sometimes, most of the time it was funny, but there was times it was probably not seen that way. So I can tell you that by living your life with humor is not for the faint of heart. It is not because you're taking a chance. Every time you go outside the box that you're thinking and how you want to address something, if you're using humor, sometimes it's met with opening somebody up, or it could be you could be stonewalled. You could be just be talking to a wall. So you've got to know that humor is hit and miss, and that in and of itself is funny. If you could even laugh at that. So I really love what Aaron Alston has to say about humor. And I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's done a lot of writing with Star Wars and the characters, that kind of a thing. That's been his influence. So he says the difference between tragedy and comedy is da, 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 tragedy is something awful happening to somebody else, while comedy is something awful happening to somebody else. now, now, I can almost agree with that. Well, I always had a good sense of humor. Always. Okay, good. Okay, we could kind of, I had a sense of humor. So, so I grew up in a family of five siblings where I was the oldest. And I was the firstborn of four girls. I had a brother, one brother. He was born second to last, but not least. And my dad was in the armed services. So we moved quite a bit across Canada. We moved everywhere across Canada. And I believe that this made us a really close family. It really did. We grew up with lots of laughter, lots. And I believe that was the glue that held us all together. We could laugh through all the hard times along with the good. Of course, me being the oldest or the eldest, I got to provoke much of it, much to everyone's delight and, and dismay. And dismay. So there may have been the odd bit of mayhem, which, Usually consisted of one, and I don't recommend this, consisted of one, imagination, yes, to that, intrusive thoughts, and no filter as being the culprits. They they were the usual ones that ensued the kind of comedy I liked to portray when I was younger. I'll give you an example. My mom and her friend were sitting in the bay window. We lived in this great big old house, and they were sitting out in the bay window. Now, up in the attic was a dormer window, and I could open up those doors and look down, and I could see them sitting in the bay window. Well, I already had this prepared. I had a doll that was exactly the same height as my youngest sister, Leslie. Exactly the same color of hair. Exactly the same style of hair. So I thought, why not put Leslie's clothes on this doll? Put a rope around her and toss her out the window and dangle her in front of the bay window. I was 11. I almost didn't make it to 12. Well, yeah, my mom was not happy with me at that moment. And so when I saw her coming, running up, I could hear her, Sheryl, Sheryl. I heard that a lot, by the way. And she was coming up those stairs. I thought, oh. Down I go to the stairs. To the bottom of the stair, there was a door with a skeleton key in the lock. Yes, God, there is a God. So I locked that darn door because no way was I letting her anywhere near me at this point. She's banging on the door. Sheryl, you get down here. And I'm like, no, I'm not coming down. You get down here right now. No, not until you're not mad at me. And then she says, I will never not be mad at you for this. So that was a lot like what my childhood was like. Before my mom died, I said, I know I'm your favorite. And she said, you know, I can't say you are. You know that. I can't say you're my favorite, but I can tell you you were my most interesting. So, you know, with all of that kind of stuff, I would like to think that the inspiration behind my mother's suggestion for our Hinds family talent night every Friday evening. Well, that just kept me so busy. I was making clothes, I was skits, gathering everybody around. There was poetry and stories and songs and new music. We just had a blast. We had dance parties. We had all kinds of things. Learned new dances. We made stuff up. Though I'd like to think I was the inspiration behind that, where all of that energy was channeled into something that was productive rather than mayhem. Although it made for good stories, you know. So, you know, I have to say that even those are the best memories I have had, though. And although I have to admit that even though my energy was channeled into something positive, they're standing behind doors still beckon me because you never know when somebody needed a good scare. And as I became older and more responsible, I started taking psychology classes as part of my training to become a family counselor. And little did I realize that there's also classes to be had in understanding humor. Count me in. You know, like, all right, yes. You know, I was in my element there. So it was wonderful to learn about the psychology of humor and what all came underneath that. So now I'm hoping not to bore you with logistics and all that kind of stuff, but bear with me here, okay? So Basically, the psychology of it breaks down into four parts, right? There's four components of it. So we have what they call the social context. And you probably won't remember all this. That's okay. But it's getting the gist of it as you're sitting here. The environment or setting where the humor occurs, much like up on this here little podium stage, where any humor occurs up here, right? So that would be the social context. The cognitive processing, which is the aha moment of connecting unrelated or incongruous ideas. So normally you would expect somebody to get up here and be kind of serious about everything. But to come up here and tell like really bizarre stories, put on a crazy pair of glasses, that's a bit incongruous, right? So there's cognitive processing that goes into all this. You got to say, gee, I wonder if she's like that all the time. Yeah, yep. Ask Vera. She's not very much different than I am, I'll tell you. So, although I can't imagine you wearing glasses and a mustache and big nose. Oh, yeah, I can. So, emotional response is the feeling that you have. Hopefully, it's amusement and joy. Okay. And the behavioral expression. So, the physical reaction of laughing or smiling. So, there you go. It's all broken down those four. You got all that? Okay. So, there's four main levels now of humor. So, you have the audience level. It's cultivated humor for like TV sitcoms, stand up comedy, speeches, roasts, practical jokes, and anything staged or premeditated, right? That's the audience level. Then you've got the situational level. Seeing humor in everyday occurrences such as tripping, uh, falling down. Would you have laughed if I had tripped, fallen down? Maybe. Vera would have. That's right. She would have asked, "Are you okay?" And as soon as, yeah, yeah, and as soon as I said, yeah, then she laughed. So spilling on yourself. I remember talking to this lady. I was very serious and I took a sip of my coffee and it came out the sides and down the front of me. Yeah, there was a lot of laughter there. And so anything is a goof up or an oops, perhaps, Like like one time my daughter, she had the beaters. I'm teaching her to cook in the kitchen. She had the beaters. She turned the beaters on and then put it into the liquid. Okay, so if anybody's ever done that, oh yeah, there's going to be a mess. Good learning experience. However, mother is in tears laughing so hard. Then there's the personal level, and this is being able to laugh at yourself at a deeper level, you know, but not in an unkind way. It could be self deprecating, but so you make fun of your body, your personality, or perhaps things that you do. But remember, if you're ever doing that, to do it with kindness and affection and acceptance. So if you're going to make fun of yourself, make sure that it's that way. I was at a party one time and we were to introduce ourselves as somebody famous, that with our first name being the name of that famous person, so that somebody could relate to us, right? And this guy said, well, it was my turn, to tell him a name. I gave him Sheryl Teagues, the model. He looks at me up and down and he says, well, you don't look anything like her, is what he said. Up comes my hand and finger and goes, hey, I have curves where she doesn't even have places. Yes. I think I got a standing ovation. I'm not sure. So a little self-deprecation, but it was also in the moment, it was said with acceptance and kindness and a new perspective. And he went, "Whoa, you don't take any prisoners." I said, "Nope." So self-deprecation, if you get right into it, can be very uncomfortable for other people. And it kind of tips the scales. It's a fine line between having good self-esteem about yourself, no matter what you look like, feel like, whatever, into not having good self-esteem about yourself. And all you're doing is letting people know you don't if you get into that self-deprecation. Somebody keep an eye on the time for me, okay? I get into the zone and I could go on for hours, trust me. ADHD. So, what I learned while growing up with my crazy, zany family was that there was a good way to have fun and create humor. I had to learn it the hard way, of course. And I found that teasing was cruel. I didn't tease, but my mom used to tease. She was horrible at teasing. And it hurt my feelings. Very often it hurt my feelings. And I felt that that she could just, then I'd say, "Mom, that hurt my feelings." She'd go, "Oh, I was just joking." So sometimes she would make a really awful remark and then go, "Well, I was only joking." This is aggression. They call it passive aggression, if you will. But nonetheless, it was aggression. And a prank, I discovered, could be taken a little too far. you know, maybe throwing that doll out the window wasn't really the best prank I could have thought of, but well, at the time it was pretty darn good. I'm still proud of that one. But because I'm the eldest, I have to be responsible, right? So instead of doing things like that, I'd find other things and other ways to make us all laugh. So one of our fun ones was to take a glass of milk and put it on our face down to it and suck it in. And we'd suck that glass right onto our faces. And then we could bring it up and then shake it around like this. We had milk all over the place. And it was hilarious just seeing your lips sucked right into that glass. The odd time, it didn't work, but I was willing to clean up the mess if that's the case, right? So, so I learned very early that, okay, so by the time I was like 70, so as long as nobody got hurt intentionally, then it was okay. As long as nobody got hurt intentionally. And as long as any mess got cleared up, then it was also okay. And I mean any mess. That could be an emotional mess. Because we're all different. I might say something and somebody's going to go, "Oh, oh, are you serious? Are you?" When it's like, "No, no, I'm not serious." "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean." So you've got to take responsibility for what you say and what you do if you think you're being funny, right? Because sometimes you're just not. So I feel having a great sense of humor is perhaps one of the most important tools that you can have in your life kit. Make it something that you create, that you look at life, through different lenses, perhaps. It says in Psalms 118, line 24, that this is the day the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, humor is meant to uplift the spirit, to lighten things up around darker, heavy topics. Humor can help transmute sadness into happiness and dark into light. So it challenges us. And I'm sure you've noticed over the years that stand-up comedians, everything has changed. It used to be fairly little safe, but challenging. It, now it's even more challenging. There's people that get up and all they do is swear all the way through it. The thing is don't be upset about swearing, and then you might be able to see the humor in it. So just don't be upset about that. So what? It's words, right? So look at it through different perspectives because that gives you the opportunity to open up and find the humor that's in it. And it may not be your style, right? And humor is a very personal experience, very personal. And it's based on our own interpretations, and humor is subjective. There's no objectivity in I'm just objective about that. No, no, I don't think so. You're subjective. It really does challenge how you feel about things. Like, I found that out again the hard way. I found out everything the hard way. So, uh, you don't make jokes about at a funeral. You know it's not usually it's usually frowned upon. But it wasn't about the person. It was just basically the joke was, um, oh, now I can't remember it. It's like, what what did one casket say to the other casket? I think it was. I'll come back to that. So, anyways, it's our spiritual beliefs, how we believe, how we feel about ourselves, and even our present mood. If we're not having a good day, we may not find anything funny. We may not find anything funny about. Um, but there are some things that, again, situational. I love situational. That's my favorite. So uh, right now, let's do a knock knock joke. Knock knock. Um, um, you see how that can shift? So then what you do is you say, okay, you get the person, you start. Who's there? So you see how how that can change, how it can be comfortable, uncomfortable. I mean, I could have gone into a million things, but I wanted to show you how something can break down. And it's funny. It's okay if it is. So then you say, that's a really good knock knock joke, right? And it's timeless. Those knock knock jokes have been around forever. You could make them up. You could make stuff up. So, people with good self esteem appear to have a very good grasp on what humor is, and they find a wide range of topics funny. There are just some that have their holy cows. There are some areas that are sacred, and you just don't joke about that. You just don't find it funny. And we all have our own holy cows, right? Our own sacred areas. No, we no, no, do not joke about that. And I get it because maybe it's too close to us. So it's okay if there's some things we don't find funny. It doesn't mean we have low self esteem because we find one area not funny. But, when you think about how many topics there are in humor. Like, hello, we could find a lot of things funny. Change our perspectives about that as well. Don't let things upset us. Try and keep ourselves together when it comes to something that's just not funny, because other people might find it hilarious, right? So in Proverbs chapter 17:22, a joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Oh, maybe that's what's happening. So, laughter is healing. It's an essential element in our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual health and well being. Even if laughter were no more than sheer silliness, and I'm sure we could think of Carol Burnett and friends. Come on, sheer silliness. Absolutely, sheer silliness. And there's all the greats that are there. That sometimes it just came down to just being darn silly, right? And it was just, but it was spontaneous. It was a tantalizing cocktail of of togetherness and oh gosh, the spontaneity is was wonderful. Now, there was a fellow by the name of Norman Cousins, and he had a painful and crippling disease. Now, has anybody heard of him? Okay. So everybody knows that then that he actually laughed himself into being cured of that debilitating disease. It took a while, but he got there. Just 10 minutes of belly laughing, and he was healed. So he did recover it. And he said he wrote a book called Anatomy of an Illness. And he tells in it how he healed himself through laughter. Other things as well, but laughter was mainly what it was. So a good belly laugh is the equivalent of 10 minutes of rowing, like constant rowing, or 20 minutes of running. Right, right. Well, I tried to tell you. I mean, I did tell you about that doll being thrown out the window. But find something that inspires you. This is the whole thing about humor and about laughter is when it allow life itself to inspire you to find the humor in it. And you will find more opportunities come up for those good belly laughs. And if you don't find that, you know in life itself, a good bottle of wine and you'll laugh at everything. So laughter increases your heart rate. It improves blood flow. It works muscles all over the body. How many have laughed so hard that they've almost lost control of their bodies and have lost control of their bodies? I can remember one time my sister and I, she's 5 years younger than me, Darlene, and we went out with my mom for coffee in Red Deer here. And as we parked up the driveway, I was driving her car, and we were parked on a slope. Her driveway was. So it was winter. So it was kind of slippery out everywhere. So my mom gets out on the passenger side. I'm getting out on the driver's side. And so my mom opens the door. She steps out and she's hanging onto the door. And then she puts her other foot on. And the next thing I know, she's got her hands down here and she's sliding backwards down the driveway, trying to stay up. Now, Darlene gets out on the passenger side and she's trying to go after her. And here's mom going, help, help. Well, we're both laughing. We can't help her. So she kind of, crawled up and she got herself upright again and all over again. Back down the driveway she goes. I mean, this poor woman. Where are Darlene and I in all this? We're in the snowbank. We can't move. We're laughing so hard. And so finally she gets up. She slams the door shut. She's on her hands and knees. And this makes us laugh even harder. And then she, on her hands and knees, she climbs up the stairs. She's finally found cement. She turns around, looks at us, and she goes, assholes. We deserved it. So, little happenstances like that. He, my mom didn't find it funny at the time, but, you know, my little nephew, okay, I've had enough of this hollering. Hung him on a banister. He's like this. He can't go anywhere, do anything. It's like, oh my God, what do I do now? We quit his whining, I'll tell you. So, laughter helps our overall outlook on life. Maybe not my mother at that point in time, but it helps us cope and adjust. So, what's really good to know is that there are laughter rooms that are being installed at hospitals. They have professional laughter teams. They have clowns that come in and work with kids, in the hospitals. And it's just wonderful. And in these laughter rooms, um, they have movies and books and toys and costumes and magic tricks and makeup, art supplies, even some practical joke supplies. Because who doesn't love to pull a prank on a doctor or a nurse? So here's some practical and fun ways to develop your own sense of humor and overall well-being. So just think of these, you know, if you're a grandmother or an auntie or a sister and they have little kids around, have theme days. Like go somewhere and be a tacky tourist, crazy sock days, pajama parties. So these are just little ways that you can use props, uh, like Groucho glasses, clown noses, hats, crazy toys, things that you can put on you that are kind of fun. Have contests. How about a best baby picture? Take that to work and see if you can guess who that was. Put all the baby pictures in the pile and then pick one and go pass it around and try and guess who that baby is. Who is the adult? So that could be fine. You could have crazy races. You could have who did the best burp here. Kids love that. They love that. The other one is posting comics or joke of the day. So, people can have a joke of the day. Cut it out, put it in a jar, go in, pick it out, and then read it. There you go. And so you could do this at home or work. Have a humor scrapbook for your personal things, and socialize more with groups that would be fun for you. Socialize more. Believe it or not, even if people don't like to people very much, socializing actually does challenge you a little bit, and it actually does open you up to having fun. How many times are you going, I don't know if yeah. You go out, you have fun, you go home and go, gee, I'm glad I did that. And then you burp loudly at everybody. So one group is like laughter yoga. Believe it or not, they have laughter yoga. So it's really interesting. The challenging thing about that is laughing when there's nothing to laugh about that you could perceive. So you start out with a couple of ha ha ha's, just saying it. Ho ho ho's, just saying it. And then you try, come on, get some momentum going here. And the next thing you know, you're going, heh, 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 and you're looking at the person and they're going, heh, heh, heh. And the challenge is to find the laughter within you when there's nothing to laugh about. There's nothing out here that's challenging you to laugh. So you're just laughing for the sake of laughter. That's right. Absolutely. And you know about clowning, Donna. So the whole thing is that, as I look back over my life, having the ability to see humor in everyday circumstances was very healing. at all levels. It was healing for me, it was healing for everybody around me. Granted, there were some that didn't like it. My dad came home with 2 dozen donuts. I was 17 at the time and still living at home. And as we're all eating these donuts, there's 5 kids, you know? 2 dozen donuts when they're a treat, they don't last long. So as we're all eating these donuts, well, my dad says, "Do you know the best part of donuts are the holes?" I go, "Really?" We're all like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, really." So we just couldn't comprehend what he was talking about. "Well, what do you mean, Dad?" "Well, when they cut out the holes in the donut." So he used to tell us like putting rainbow paint is that's what the stripes on the can mean. That's rainbow paint when you put it on the wall. Yeah. So we're like, what are holes? Donut holes? We have no idea. Anywho, the next day, morning, we're getting up, we're going to school, we're getting ready for work and everything. He's in the kitchen making his lunch and so on and so forth. And I see his hand dive into the bag. And he goes, "There's no donuts. The donuts are all gone." And I said, well, I grabbed the bag and looked at it and handed it to him. And I said, "Well, Dad, we saved you the best part. We saved you the holes." Yeah, doesn't go well. It's 7:30 in the morning. Does not go over well. I still thought it was funny, even though he didn't. So, you know, it helps you stop taking life so seriously. Okay? I needed it. I appreciated it. And mostly, so did others. So I was grateful to have that built in sense of humor. And so when we are laughing, it is truly the music of the soul. Music of the soul is laughter. Think of it that way. It creates hope. If you can laugh in the darkest of times, it creates hope and healing. So next time you're getting down or feeling down about your life, please find something to laugh about. Find anything. Wear a clown nose. Take laughter classes or watch funny movies. Call a friend. Reach out. Talk to your inner child everywhere. You can walk down a shopping aisle talking to your inner child. "Come on, you can do it. I know you can laugh. Oh, yeah, look at this. Yeah, we're going to be okay. We'll get through this." Talk to yourself. Nobody cares really. And if they do, then it's funny, right? So do what it takes to find that laughter in you again. Life without laughter is heavy, dark, and dull. So take humor very seriously and savor every moment that you can enjoy. And so it is.